As Derek Chauvin's case moves into trial, it's important for us to revisit the narrative that we heard in 2020 surrounding police. Now, if you were watching the news at all, you heard that police were systemically racist and that they should be defunded. Now, anybody with a brain understands that defunding the police is actually the exact opposite of what needs to take place. Does police brutality exist? Yes. Whenever it hurts and injures anybody, especially when it's racially motivated, is it disgusting and awful and evil? And should it be approached with all the full force of the law? Absolutely. However, the reality is that if police brutality is a problem and if repeat offenders as far as police abusing their power is a problem, the one thing we need more than anything is we need more money for the police so that we can train them better, so that we can have accountability systems put in place so that this does not continue to be an issue. But I think it's important to note that on the first day of trial, the prosecuting attorney stood up and he said this. He said, "We are not talking about all cops. We are talking about this cop." Of course, being a police officer is a job that desires and demands great responsibility and accountability. So in order to do that, we desperately need to make sure that police officers are getting the training that they need, but they're also getting the support from each and every one of us as citizens. In fact, police officers have a really hard job. Their job is so hard, in fact, that the number one cause of death for police officers is not line of duty shootings or anything that they experience on the job. It's actually things they experience at home. The number one cause of death for police officers is suicide. They have an incredibly difficult job, and the weight of the world lies upon them and upon their shoulders. I share this with you because just recently, a great story that did not make the national news happened in Ohio. It was in Jackson Township where a police officer had the opportunity to help out a citizen, but this was not any ordinary citizen. Here's how that story went.
Tina Spencer never thought her Saturday afternoon shopping spree would end with a high-speed chase and gunfire. But Spencer says when she witnessed a man rob Jackson Township's Dollar General, it struck a nerve.
I want to walk in there with my kids or grandkids and feel safe. I don't want to know some guy's holding up some lady at a cash register.
She says as the man got into his car with the cash, she also got in hers, but she didn't go home. She dialed 911 and followed him.
A gray Altima, he does not have tags.
But as Spencer and the suspect reached an intersection, that man did something she was not expecting. He shot at her.
Had no idea he had a gun. We're in a subdivision and you just shot at me? So then I got mad. And then I thought if he could shoot at me, then he's going to shoot at somebody else. So that's why I kept following him. And I was trying to tell the police, you've got to get here.
And quickly after that, Jackson police did get there.
Now, I wanted to stop right there in the middle of that story so that you can kind of take in this situation. So this young man, who, by the way, is a man of color, robbed a store and then shot at a citizen, ran away, and is now in a park. So he's got a gun, and he's holding the gun to his head, and he's contemplating suicide. Now, to understand this completely, think about this. Put yourself in the police officer's shoes. At any point in time, he could take that gun and he can turn it, and in just a flick of a wrist, he could pull that trigger and he could shoot a police officer. He could shoot himself. Anything could happen at this moment. It's a tense situation, one that you would never want to be in. Now, here's what happened in that situation.
Police found the suspect in a backyard holding a gun.
I need you to put the gun down for me, bud.
After police convinced the man to drop the gun, he was arrested. Jackson Police Chief Mark Brink credits the work of his officers and Spencer in making sure everyone got home safe.
I want to read a transcript of the altercation, and this was confirmed by body cam footage, but this is what takes place. When the officers finally catch up with this young man, this is how things go down. First, the officer says, "We can help you. We're not going to hurt you. I promise you, we are not going to hurt you. Put it down." At one point in the video, the officer promised to get a therapist for Harper, who he said was off his medicines. "You toss that gun out of there. I put mine away. I'll come talk to you. I promise you, we can help you. It's not the way," said the officer. When Harper said his age, the officer continued to encourage him to put the gun down. "Come on, bud. You have to talk to me. Dude, you're 20. You're still so young. Let's go, dude. You don't want to do this. Just put the gun down, bud. We don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You're 20. After minutes of negotiating, Harper put his gun down, and the officer who negotiated with him walked up and handcuffed him, continuing the dialogue. Now, I've had the opportunity to speak with many police officers, and real policing isn't necessarily arresting. Sometimes it's not even risking your life with an armed robber. Sometimes it's being able to talk with somebody who's in the back of your car and asking them what caused you to make these life decisions. What can you do so that you don't have to get yourself in this situation again? It's talking to people and helping people. Now, this is the real story of the police. Please don't believe any other narrative that's tried to be sold to you other than that. Police officers, men and women, they're heroes. They deserve our respect. And every single day, they have an incredibly difficult job that demands that they be almost perfect. So what's the real story of police? It's not systemic racism. It's men and women who go out of their house every single day, risking their lives, not knowing if they're going to come home, who have the responsibility of being almost perfect in order to do their job well. The real story of policing is a bunch of men and women who are heroes, who deserve our respect and our thanks.
Catch new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Uberman for free right now by going to YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Simply type Indie Thinker with Reed Uberman in the search bar and click on my face. Don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to stay informed when a new episode drops.